Okay, I came up with this idea in 2017 or 2018, and basically what it is, it's called Taco Bowl, and it's a way to make, it's basically everything you'd have in a taco except the shell. And what you need for this is 1 pound of ground beef. I just use the 75 75% lean, 25% fat. You need some taco seasoning. I got all this at Food City. You need some seasoned blend and some pinto beans and some petite tomatoes. And when it's finished, you can put, and I actually, in the beginning, it was made, the original recipe was with all this, but also when it was finished, you would put it in a bowl that had shredded lettuce on the bottom, and then you would put shredded cheese on the top. That's the other thing. But a year after I came up with it, or a couple of years, I realized that I could use Fritos. So that's how I'm going to do this. And the first thing we need to do is it's also a good idea because this is kind of going to go along sort of quickly, but basically I just came up with this because my teeth were never that good. I had to have them all pulled out, and by 2003 I was toothless. I could eat just about anything. Can't eat, well, any type of nuts like walnuts or peanuts or anything. I have to kind of grind up and put in something else. Can't eat peanut brittle, but to be perfectly honest, when I had my teeth and they were in good shape, I couldn't eat peanut brittle then, so it don't matter. And I just sort of come up with ways to do things to where I can eat them with without too much of a problem. So the first thing I'm going to do is brown the ground beef, and we'll go from there. Okay, our ground beef is browned. What I'm going to do now is take it off the burner and drain as much of the grease off as I can without losing any of the hamburger. And I'm also going to kind of wipe out this pan. I know there's still going to be some grease on it, but get as much off as I can. You don't have to do that step, but grease bothers my stomach, and I can't tolerate it that well. So, and this looks like less than a pound, even though it said on the thing that it was a pound. I suspect it's not. What you really want to do with 75-25 ground beef, which is 75% lean and 25% fat, is get like 1.5 pounds. And then that way you drain it twice. Like if you're making something and you don't want it too slimy or sloppy, you would drain it twice, and you'll have closer to 1 pound, and then that way whatever you're making it requires 1 pound of ground beef won't be messed up. And there's the fat from it. We'll set that off to the side. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put in some of the season blend. Not a lot, but just enough to sort of, and it's frozen, so I kind of got to wait just a little bit. Put that back on the burner. And while that's going, I'm going to go ahead and mix up my taco seasoning. There's a reason why I don't like a lot of there's a reason why I don't like a lot of moisture in there, because this taco seasoning, you got to mix it with 2/3 cup of water, and it'll just about fill up a coffee cup or like a coffee mug. I'm gonna put the lid back on so it don't dry out. Let that go for a few minutes. It's just about done. It don't take long to make. After I get the taco seasoning in there, that's going to put a little bit more moisture into it. I've already opened up the beans and tomatoes. I took a little moisture off the beans, most of it off the tomatoes, so it should be pretty close. If I need to, I can put a little bit more water in it. See how that looks. Maybe stir it around a bit. Yeah, it's starting to dry out, so I got to go ahead and pour this in. Whoops. Didn't quite get it out. And then got one on the bottom. Give that a stir. And then I'm going to put the beans in. Stir them up. Got to be careful on a low whip skillet, because it'll go everywhere. And then I'll put the tomatoes in. Stir that around. Yeah, see, it's trying to escape. This looks like a mess, but it's not. It actually tastes really good in the end, I think. All right. I'm going to put that on, turn the heat down to about medium, and I'm going to let it cook for about 9 or 10 minutes. And by that time, I'll have everything else set up. All right, it ain't been exactly 10 minutes, but it should be ready. It don't take a whole lot of time for it to cook. You're going to have some moisture in it, but most of that will evaporate. Like I said, I couldn't exactly get a 1 pound of ground beef. I've got my corn chips right there. All I'm going to do is take 1 spoon, another spoon, put in as much as you want. I just went with the lunch box corn chips because if I got the big bag, I'd just go right through it. So, and I got a couple of them in case I wanted seconds. And then what you can do is whatever toppings you want to put on it. I'm going to put shredded cheese and do something that I learned a long time ago. If you want the cheese to melt evenly, put a bowl over top of it and leave it for a while, and it'll melt. It wasn't overly expensive. The most expensive thing was the ground beef. I already had the tomatoes and I already had the beans. Only thing I had to get was the shredded cheese, the taco seasoning, and the ground beef. And when you mix up the taco seasoning, what I normally do is just use like a coffee mug or a cup, and it's 2/3 cup, so it's 2 of these full of water, and that makes 2/3. And just stir it up. I stir it up with a fork, and I've been making it for a few years now. What I'll do is once it cools down after I'm done with dinner, I'll put it in a bowl and put a lid on it, and I'll stick it in the freezer. And then if I want it again, just get it out, thaw it out, and heat it up on the stove, and I'm ready to go. There it is. Most of the cheese is already melted. It's only been in there a few seconds. And I can put this on, leave it on there a little bit longer. It should work just fine. And that's literally about it. I paid, I think, a couple of dollars for the seasoned blend. The Fritos were 2 for $1. The cheese was $2.99. I think the beans were like 99 cents a can or something. Tomatoes were about the same price. And the taco seasoning was, I think, 2 for $1.25, something like that. So it wasn't overly expensive. And like I said, if you were making this for more than one person, you could. There's enough there for like 3 people to have one helping. You get a big bag of Fritos, it would still work. I have put in the past. I put salsa on it. What I'll do is put the cheese on there, and then I'll let that melt. Then I'll put the salsa on top. I have put sour cream on it. Whatever you would put on a taco, other than the shell, you can put on there. It works just fine. I call it taco bowl. It's just something I came up with. I was sitting around one day and may have seen a commercial or something for tacos and got to thinking I'd like to have some, but then realizing you can't chew through the shell, so I just came up with that. Thanks for watching. Oh wait, let me check this. Yeah, it's pretty well all melted now. All right, and that's about it.